Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Valpo Football Weekly. It's brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. I'm Brandon Vickery, glad to be joined via Zoom by the head coach of the Valpo football program, Landon Fox. Well, Coach, let's start with the real positive from Saturday's game. I thought that was the play of the defense. You held the opponent to the fewest yards of total offense Valpo had allowed in a PFL game since 2010. Back-to-back weeks now holding the opponent under 17 points or fewer. First time that's happened in PFL play since 2000. Just what have you seen from the play of the defense through the first 2 weeks, and especially this week against Drake?
Yeah, I'd just say in order to be a championship football program, you have to play great defense. Play sound defense. Don't give up explosive plays. Be good in the kicking game and be able to be consistent offensively. So the one thing that is interesting just to tell the guys, and I tell them to take the results out of it. Just focus on your technique, your assignment, your alignment, and the hard thing is we played better this week than we did last week. Well, last week we won, this week we didn't. But with that, that's where you can see improvement. Don't get clouded by the fact whether it's a W or an L. And our guys did a nice job with that. We did get better from week 1 to week 2, and we'll be challenged this week in week 3. And so we'll see if the guys are up to the challenge.
No question, the red zone opportunities were a big key to the game on Saturday. You had situations where you were in the red zone, couldn't quite get that extra yard or two at the goal line, situations where you settled for the 3 points. Maybe what did you see in those spots, and what do you have to do moving forward to come away with touchdowns in those situations?
Yeah, so Brandon, we talked to the guys in terms of, hey, what's the difference in the game? We talked about, hey, being able to play a physical football game, play for 60 minutes, eliminate explosives. And when it came down to it, as you watch the game, their ability to score after a turnover and punch it in from the red zone area, and our lack of ability to punch it in from the 1 yard line, that was a huge factor in the game. And so that physical component comes from, hey, understanding assignments, who we're supposed to block, what gaps we're supposed to be in, and then playing with great pad level, toughness. And those were the difference in the games. You talk about explosives, defensively, we give up a 42-yard run. Now, 42 of their 211 yards were on one run, which is one of the reasons we gave up 17 points and didn't give us an opportunity to be there at the end.
Let's talk about your punter, Ben Neisner. He won the PFL Special Teams Player of the Week, had 2 punts of over 50 yards, 9th in the nation in terms of yards per punt so far this season. What stands out to you about Ben?
What stands out about Ben is his commitment to being a great punter. I mean, he works at his craft all the time. It's very, very important to him. So it's awesome for the guys to see that. He's a very good leader in his own aspect in terms of just how guys watch him. And hey, he's working it. So, sometimes maybe a specialist gets a bad name, but he's done an unbelievable job just with his work ethic, which carries over to his leadership role. He's a guy that we knew when he's a transfer guy that we brought in. We felt like he could come in and contribute and do a great job. And he's done just that, and has an unbelievable story too. Like, he didn't even play, didn't even kick and play football in high school. And so, very interesting story in terms of Ben's path to where he's at now, but doing a great job.
It's a very interesting situation. Some of the things that's come out of this unique season are situations like this, where you're playing a team you just played 2 weeks ago. Obviously not something you'd have during a normal year. We talked a little bit about it before the season, but now that you're in it and it's a week like that, how does it change the preparation this week? What's that like to play a team that you had just played 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, so it's interesting, and just what does that look like? I would tell you this: don't get caught up in, hey, we just played them a week ago, because they're still going to stay to their base fundamentals and what they do and who they are. Now, will you see wrinkles? Sure, and stuff that you did not perform well at, both offensively, defensively, and the kicking game, those are going to show up, and so you better have those things fixed in order to be successful on Saturday. But from the terms of just the basics, nobody's going to change dramatically. And so it's a team that's going to execute at the highest level for a long period of time, a team that'll be the most successful on Saturday.
We've talked a lot about the rivalry, but it bears repeating again because this time it's the Hoosier Helmet game. I guess, what's the significance of it being for the Hoosier Helmet, and what are some keys to victory on Saturday?
Every time we play the team down there is important, but this one obviously has significance in terms of bringing the helmet home, bringing it back to Valparaiso University, and we're gonna talk about that this week. And the guys are going to take a lot of pride in that, and their preparation will be on point. I know they'll be excited, and they'll do everything they can to allow them to be successful. But it comes down to just that, Brandon. You say, hey, what's the keys? It's preparation. It's coaches putting the guys in the right position. Then it's the guys once they're in the right position to get in their right alignment assignments and execute the game plan. If we can do that, we'll be successful. And so those are the keys to the game.
Well, there he is, the head coach of the Valpo football program, Landon Fox. A lot of encouraging signs and things to be excited about. And one of those things to be excited about is this week's game, the Hoosier Helmet game on Saturday against the team from Indianapolis, as the head coach likes to say. And you can follow it. It'll be on ESPN Plus, and you can follow Valpo Athletics, as always, on social media and valpoathletics.com. We'll talk to you again next week on Valpo Football Weekly, brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.